Thank you, Councillor, for giving us the opportunity to come and talk to you. You're the chairperson of the Finance Committee. You know all the finances of the city. Maybe you can start by sharing with us the financial status of the City Council.
Thank you. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Thank you, Bulawayo. As you have said, Mkandla, that I'm the chairperson of the City of Bulawayo. We appreciate our residents who have supported us, I think, for the last 15 years, when the economy has been very, very down, and it has been very difficult for people to make ends meet, which means it also affects their trafficking to our revenue collection centers. It is the mandate where council derives revenue is from the residents. We derive our revenue to do service delivery from the residents. So our residents have never left us. They have tried their best to pay, even though they are struggling. But well, our revenue collection are not in a good state, to be honest. It's below 50%. We are far below 50%. We know there are causes. The causes are like people are not employed in Bulawayo. We all know industries are shutting down, and also those that are employed, what they are getting is their salaries or wages is not even enough to buy a loaf of bread. And the other challenge is that we do have some residents who decide to not pay. That's the other challenge. Yeah. They decide to not pay, but they expect service delivery. Yeah. So those are the challenges.
Okay, but what is the current situation? Maybe if you can give us, maybe in terms of statistics. We have read also on the newspapers, they've been saying the revenue has fallen by 80%. What does it mean when we go deeper and say 80% council has lost revenue, which amounts to 80% of what they used to collect before? What does it mean to the council?
This means that normally, as the City of Bulawayo, we project that we must at least collect close to 10 million a month. That is what we...
10 million RTGS.
Okay. But meaning to say, out of that, we are collecting 2 million RTGS. So that's the sign if we say we've fallen. Meaning to say, out of 10 people that are expected to come and pay, only 2 are paying. Meaning to say 8 is not paying. So you see, vis-a-vis the demand of the service delivery. Meaning to say, all those 10 people that I've mentioned, they want service delivery, but only 8 are not paying, 2 are only paying. The reason is known to them. So this is the challenge that we are facing, especially this year. This year we have been affected mostly by this COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. You know, we're relying, everyone in Zimbabwe is known that they are relying on informal sector. So when from 1 April, when the country was locked down, Bulawayo was also locked down. Yeah. So people never had a source of income. And what was important, people only cared about trying to hustle for food, bread, meal, cooking oil. Yeah. So for the past 3 months, people have been not coming up as expected to come and pay. So also that has affected our revenue collection. Our status of revenue is not pleasing. But we know it is not deliberately. I can say 3/4 is not deliberately. Residents really want to pay, but they are struggling, and no one has been working for the past 3 months. But well, there is another percentage that doesn't want to pay. And also, these ones that don't want to pay are still included back in a 2013 government directive that said 2 days before the elections, they said no, everyone who was owing the City of Bulawayo or City of Harare or City of Mtare is not owing. So some people still think that it's going to come back. But the Minister of Local Government promised us, no, we won't have it again. But politicians are politicians. We don't know.
Yes, you are also a politician yourself.
No, I'm a councillor. I'm a councillor.
But you're a product of politics.
Serving the City of Bulawayo.
But maybe if you can also shed more light in terms of the service delivery. You are saying that the revenue has dropped by 80%. You acknowledge that, but how has it affected the service delivery for the City of Bulawayo?
In a normal city, you are expecting a local authority that runs a very good, that manages a very good fleet of public transportation. A street where you can walk at night and it's well lit. A city where you can drive looking aside, where the roads are smooth and no potholes. A city where you don't need a mask to protect yourself from COVID, to protect yourself from smells from the sewer. A city where you can open your tap anytime and drink water, clean and safe water. That is a normal city. But we face a crisis when it's like this, where a council is failing to fund projects such as road maintenance, public lighting maintenance, youth centers, all sorts of things that the residents are expecting. We expect a situation where a city, every day in the morning, refuse collection truck picks your bin and throw away the rubbish to a landfill that is well managed. But due to financial constraint, we are failing to do those. Because you check, our people are paying in RTGS. Yeah. You need to buy fuel. You need to buy space. We all know, if we are serious with the fleet of refuse trucks, the fleet of other vehicles that we are using, if you really want to buy their space, you definitely need to go across the borders. So you really need Forex, you really need that. But with the way we are receiving revenue and the way instability of the rate out there, we cannot get money from council revenue and go and buy Forex, because you don't have that RTGS. The time you leave revenue to the RPZ, it will have lost value. So it has affected us, that it has hindered funding for projects such as those ones. You can see the leak that we have, we're trying to pour to provision of water, because water is the main thing that residents need. Okay.
And speaking of all these things that you say the council must provide on a daily basis, the council has finally arrived at a solution or a resolution to actually bill the residents and other ratepayers using Forex. What were the contributing factors to that resolution?
The main contributing factor is that we really need Forex to deliver. We need Forex for our ambulances. We need Forex for our refuse trucks. We need Forex to buy the premix for our roads. We need Forex to buy just bulbs for our public lighting. Yeah. We definitely need Forex. Yeah. So we then said, no, let's allow. Actually, we are not saying council is expecting residents to pay in Forex only. We have introduced a multi-currency system in the City of Bulawayo. That whatever you have, which is currency, bring and pay. Because we had a crisis that people will leave Luveve and dash to town along to trade gold and look for spartelenes and change money through eco cash or hard currency. They then come with that money to revenue. Yet we've got people who are saying, we are willing to take our dollars straight to the revenue wall. We've got people who are in diaspora who really want to just deposit money for their bills into the council account. We've got people in diaspora who wants to buy residential stand. We've got people here even in locally who are prepared to buy their residential stands with Forex. So, because we are looking for Forex, and as we speak, it's common knowledge that there is more Forex out there in the public than in the system. So we need to put measures in place that get that Forex into the council system that can finance our projects.
Okay. Maybe common sense is not so common to me when you're saying it's common knowledge that there is more Forex out there. Where is the council getting that evidence that there is more Forex out there?
Council officials and even councillors, even residents, we live in Bulawayo.
Yeah.
People are buying chomolia using US dollars. People are buying majanje using US dollars, like the Chinamasa language.
Yeah.
People are buying everything using Forex. You drive to Plumtree, Kezi, Cholocho. They don't know bond notes. They really want hard cash. You go to western areas as we speak. People are being charged 160 rand for a room. But they are paying those. Why is council not putting nets to get that Forex to the system and then provide services to the people? Because I can tell you, if we really receive Forex and we fund street lighting, we fund road maintenance, we fund sewer reticulation, we fund water augmentation, even if you are a landlord looking for someone to rent your house to pay Forex, the person will be very impressed because there will be totally good service in that area. So council get Forex, improve service, and then so that the landlord can get a happy tenant.
Yeah, if I got you right, earlier on you mentioned that you are taking any Forex.
Yes.
Any cash Forex.
Yes, yes.
So that could be a rand, a US dollar, a pula.
Yes.
So how then do you account for it when you are doing your accounting and budgeting?
What we have done, we've put in systems, and you know, it's like this is just a very normal thing. When you long back when people used to sign checks,
yeah,
you know, there is a system in payment systems where they know that they punch button so and so that will go to checks.
Yeah.
But then the crisis will be when we now need to do our books, because we have to balance RTGS and the Forex. But well, yeah. I believe our council officials are working on that, and they will definitely do that.
Yeah. Speaking of accounting, there is also an issue of rates. We know there is a black market rate, which most people favor when it comes to changing their Forex. Then there is also a government official rate, which is now they are using auction system to determine the rate of the money. How is the council going to rate the residents using the Forex versus the local currency?
For starters, a council is a government.
Yeah.
We are government. So we run council affairs based on government statutes. So at the moment we are going to do the government move. But where we go further is that we have said to residents, you come and pay in Forex, we give you 50% discount. Meaning to say, we are doing what we call rebasing,
yeah,
where we are returning our budget to where it was in 2013, because the needs that we need today are the ones that we needed in 2013. So we have said in 2011, not 2013, where everyone was getting paid in US dollar.
Yeah.
We are saying in 2011, a house in Pumula was paying 14 US dollars. That is a bill. But by then you would take your Barclays Bank card and go to a Barclays Bank ATM card, machine. You put your card, 20 US dollars and 100 US dollars will come out as cash. So meaning to say everyone had US dollar, and it was 14 US dollar. But today you go to your bank, you are asked to queue, you get RTGS. So how does it balance? Council is saying I must pay in Forex, but I'm not getting it. So we are saying, a house in Pumula, you are lucky you have received Forex. You want to come and pay in Forex. We are saying you're not going to pay $14. You then come and pay $7. Meaning to say, if you want to bring your RTGS, you're going to pay $14. We are going to pay what is equivalent to $14.
Okay.
But if you are going to pay to bring your US dollar, you are going to pay $7. So we are trying to balance the concerns of the residents from the rate that is. We are saying, well, we are going to give you the government rate, but there is an incentive that we are giving you.
Okay.
But well, there are so many incentives that are going to come. We've had some people saying, no, we are coming, want to buy business stands, so want to pay in Forex. Why are you not giving us discounts, or why are you not giving us flexible payment plans? those are the other things that we are looking into.
Okay. So what does all these changes mean to the budget, the yearly budget of the City Council? Are you going to do consultations with the residents on the issue and change the budget, then submit it to the national government for approval or something like that? The usual process.
With our changes of these things, the charges in Forex that we've done, we've took into consideration. We are still using the same rates and the same budget that our residents proposed last year. So we are simply trying to bring in Forex so that we try and maintain revenue. Because currently, if you use that they said they want to pay 20 RTGS, we know that 20 RTGS cannot buy anything. So why can't we come up with means of making sure that what Gogo in Sizinda is going to pay is going to be useful? So there is nothing much that is going to change in our budget. Okay. Our budget is going to remain the same. We are not increasing, neither we are not decreasing anything. We are maintaining the figures, but we are trying to find a way of making the residents' money powerful and useful.
Okay. But are you going to take the proposal to the residents and do the usual consultations that you usually do, whether it's a supplementary budget or something like that?
What I'm saying, this is not a supplementary budget.
Yeah, I get you, but for the residents to appreciate
what we have said is that the councillors are going to go back and convince their residents and explain as we are explaining to them.
Convince?
Because this is already a resolution.
Yeah.
Which we are, because actually, for all information, residents are the ones who have been calling for this move.
Okay.
If you look how they cooperated when we did our Selborne Park, 2 years ago we designated 77 stands that we sold in Forex.
Yeah.
I think the cheapest stand was 18,000 US. I tell you, they have all paid. And if you go to Selborne Park now, the servicing of those stands is almost complete. And they appreciate. So people have proven in Bulawayo that they can support this. But we are notwithstanding those who are failing to get Forex. We do have mechanism. They are going to continue paying the way they used to pay with their RTGS.
Yeah. I've interacted with quite a number of residents, leaders, who have also proposed that maybe the council should also engage the local business community in terms of them plowing back into the council and improving the service delivery. Have you considered that option?
Yes, we do. But you know, actually it's dangerous in Bulawayo to talk about ailing businesses. They are ailing, all of them, unless those that are in the informal sector. Most businesses, we know that Bulawayo used to be balanced by National Blankets, National Foods, Ingwebu Breweries, Monarch, Bozals, Dunlop, National Fencing, Rata Properties. They are nowhere to be found now. If they are there, maybe they are operating at 20%. So for us to patent, well, we have proposed that to them, but you know their coming is a bit slow, because you understand, because most firms that have existed in Bulawayo for the past years, they've only managed to manage that they are operating. Their doors are open, they are employing our people, and they really appreciate that they are still employing people. But you know, for us to, because now I can tell you that a formal company is suffering more than a informal sector in the city. So, well, we have thrown that to them. We have seen Abbas, we have seen CCIZ, we have seen business communities. And we have said in this era, can they sit down and bring us their proposal, how they, because they are also affected by lack of service delivery, by poor service delivery. So they need to alleviate the situation. So we are expecting them to come back to us and say, this is what we think it's better.
Okay, maybe moving on, I would like to find out about the 3% retention. Is it a scheme or a fund? The last I checked, when I was following up on the council minutes, there was an issue that the funds actually are not available to the councillors for them to utilize them as they wish in their residence. Can you clarify that one?
Do you know, when we budget for the money that we have not received. The water retention fund, it's whether you call it a scheme or a fund.
Yeah.
It's a process where we are saying residents sit down and get a share of your payment. But it is known, according to its constitution, there is supposed to be a bank account where you receive 3%, it goes straight there.
So it's one bank account for all the 29 wards?
Yes.
Okay.
But I am saying, look, in Ward 1, if the payment is proper, meaning to say every month, something like 150 to 200,000 must be deposited into that account. Against Mabutweni, which has failed to pay for service, that will make them receive a refuse truck. That against Luveve, which has not paid enough, without removing the retention fund, enough money that will make us supply water to them. So are we caring fathers if we say, let's keep Imalika Ward 150 still there, start Imalika Ward 1 selling some street lights, start Imalika Ward 1 say Fagama slabs, yet people in Luveve don't have water, yet a clinic in Luveve don't have medication. So due to leaky drops that are coming into our revenue coffers, it's difficult for now for us to manage the bank account for the water retention. But what we have said is that councillors and the community sit down, you come up with a project, you come to council or to water retention. We do have what is called water retention committee that is made up of our experts. You bring your project, your costing is done, yeah? And then we really look how important and effective is that project. For instance, if the project is of, let's say, Pomula East has got no street lights, they want a tower light. That is very important. We then can source funds, but crediting to that word. Simple.
Okay.
There is no money. Director always say, "Agula money is la panti konko to izinja." Emele lugutu watu anabuya itali. For instance, it would be very silly for us as council to be seen doing a sports field when people in Luveve want medication. Priorities. So the water retention fund is being affected by poor revenue collection, and also the economic situation and the priorities also. Yeah. But the scheme is there.
But it's not working effectively.
It's not working effectively because we have been affected by we don't have that money.
But have you done some kind of like evaluation or review to see how effective it has been in terms of serving the residents as well as serving the city?
No, it has been effective. Residents are quite impressed. Quite impressed. I remember I went to Luveve, to the ward 12 in Ncube, where with about 3 public toilets that have not been working for a long time. But through the retention fund, we managed to reopen them. They were very happy residents and are very happy. And actual residents are looking after those. And also we go to Mpopoma, Ward 13, where we managed to buy a brick molding machine and cement. We're expecting residents to make bricks so that they construct their individual tools. In Popoma currently, people are sharing toilets. So it's hindering the surveyors to peg those houses for individual ownership. So when you do your own toilet, then now you'll be ready for surveyors to peg for you and then ownership. So we are moving towards constructing toilets for those people. Thanks to the Honorable MP of the area, Honorable Simoyo, who is a former councillor also. He donated toilet seats for those residents. So meaning to say now, there is nothing that will stop us to do those toilets. If funds permit, by end of year, I think we'll have done 50% of those toilets.
Okay. When you started our conversation, you mentioned that the City Council needs funds to fix things like street lights, and you also mentioned the roads. But as a citizen who follows current affairs, we know that there is Zinara, and Zinara provides certain funds to the local authorities for fixing the roads. Has Zinara come forward for the Bulawayo City Council this year?
The last dispatch that we got in from Zinara, I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That was 2018.
Normally what they do, they normally dispatch funds when they know that there is a state function in the city of Bulawayo. Which is actually, that's not the problem. The problem is with the system. I'm saying, I have made this and I'll make it very clear that if you drive to Mashonaland West, there is a road that is managed by Uzumba Rural District Council. It's smart and clean and well lit. But that road is being maintained through Zinara. How many vehicles are registered in that rural district council compared to vehicles that are registered in an urban authority like Bulawayo City, Bulawayo? So, meaning to say, Zinara should first give us the statistics of how many vehicles, not what they think they must give us.
My last question is on the issue of the revenues. You once proposed during a full council meeting, I'm not sure of the month, that you are going to turn those into churches. You'll rent them out to other people who are interested in using them because they are no longer effective or rather busy as they used to be before. Has that started?
No, it has not. It's a vision. Because you need a country that is well managed in technology and in the network system. Because you see, we are still facing challenges that residents don't even believe that they can pay their bills through their phone. You know, we still have got those people that think umelwe a revenue, uboni receipt and a city council, but well, we are moving towards redoing that. It's our vision. But soon and soon we'll be there. The more young people get properties, the more they will understand.
But how will the young people get the properties since most of them, like me, are earning RTGS and you guys are now selling stands in US dollar?
That's another question for another day. But if you go out there, even just a cell phone that you are doing WhatsApp on, it's sold in US dollars.
Yeah.
So you know, you young people make ends meet. They know how to do things. But it is my dream and my prayer that one day this local authority will have a situation where it does incubation centers. I mean, where city council will wake up and say, we are now getting our dividend from Ingwebu. We are going to build houses and get young people in there, and then they grow from there. That's our dream. But you know, the dream might remain a dream, but the dream might become true. So we are working towards that.
Okay, thank you so much, Councillor, for your time to talk to us. But in my last request, I would like to find out, we've been reading on the papers that the Bulawayo City Council is broke, struggling to pay its own workers. The last month we heard that you were paying them half. Is it true, and what are you guys doing as councillors, as the city fathers, to make sure that your workers are productive?
We are broke, but what I can say, you can even call any council worker. Yeah. We paid them, they're up to date. We are actually working on paying them for July.
So
the last payment, I think the last person who get paid is on the 29th June. We got paid, so we're up to date, everyone. And yesterday when we had the meeting, we spoke about it. I just jokingly raised the question because it came out also in the media. And then my director for finance showed me his phone SMS showing that he has received his salary. So meaning to say we are all up to date.
So the headline was not so true.
No, it was not. It was not true. It can be true that we are broke.
Yes. Because
residents are unable to pay. We are broke, but it's not that our workers have not been paid. They are up to date. We agree the money that they are getting paid cannot sustain them. That one we can agree. As also the money that council is receiving cannot sustain council, but we don't owe them.
No, thank you so much, Cllr Mlandu, for giving us this opportunity to come and discuss with you the financial status of the Bulawayo City Council.
Thank you very much, Mkandla.
Yeah.
Thank you.